All right, we're back. We're back. Testing the sound. One more sound test and we'll get right to it. Sound test, sound test. All right, we're back. We're back. All right, sound is good. Oh my God, I thought I wasn't going to have any trouble with my internet again. I hate starting the stream and then having to restart it. So you didn't really, if you're watching the stream and you wanted to start from the second part, I haven't really said much yet. We're just bullshitting, messing around. We're going to talk to ChatGPT. But anyhow, so where I'm at is December 12th. I have shoulder surgery. Oh, a lot of guys came back into the room really quick. I appreciate it. Yeah, Chaxologist says, don't change anything and don't press anything. I hear you. I hear you. Thanks for coming back, guys. I appreciate it. So yeah, a month till surgery. Struggling with the hospital getting like approval for the surgery. I don't know why they're taking so long getting back to me. It's a fucking nightmare. The U.S. health insurance system. I mean, what the fuck can you do? But I have the silver. I have the silver from Blue Shield Chexologist. It seems like you know your stuff. But I wanted to make sure that on this stream that I thank my early GoFundMe donors. I'm going to keep this GoFundMe open up for a while. And like I said, I'm humiliated and I'm embarrassed, but I did it to myself. I'll do better. What's up, Electric Rider? How you doing? Mysterio71, my friend James. Ozzy Jackass is loud and clear. Very good. Chexologist says, don't touch anything. Fleming, how are you? Sleck says, depending on the payment plans, I'm ordering a 7260 tomorrow. Wow, that'd be really cool. Go to the most recent videos and use my links. I don't really have a 7260 link. You just use my link that are in my descriptions, and I'll get a kickback if you buy one. But I don't even know if that works with financing. I really have no idea. Electric Rider says that wait sucks. I had to wait 45 days after I broke my knee for the operation. Yeah, the American fucking healthcare system sucks, right? But I wanted to make sure before I really got deep into this at all that I thank my GoFundMe donors because I've already got some really good donations. I mean, it blows me away. Some of these donations are absolutely super, super fucking generous. My first donation, really big donation from Melvin, the owner of the company. I sent him a notice. I said, man, like, thank you so much. He gave me $1,000 donation. I mean, that is a giant, giant, giant donation. And that is really just fucking unbelievable. So Melvin, the owner of the company, super, super generous. I wanted to make sure I thank everybody. I won't use your last names unless I know you're okay with it. Some of these people I know from real life. I don't think they'll care. Alrighty, so Melvin, my first donator. Thank you very much. I mean, man, what can I tell you, man? You got my loyalty to VOROMOTORS. Steve, thank you very much. Steve, thank you very much. Matthew, Colin, an anonymous donation. Two Georges, pretty big donations, 50 and 100. Stephen, and my friend Neil Patterson, who is actually a local real life friend. I don't think he lives here anymore, but I trained him for a while and we became good friends. So I really wanted to make sure that I thank my donors. I mean, what could I say, man? What can I fucking say? I fucked myself. This is the last time I'm going to rely on community. Now, all this being said, it's pausing again. It's like maybe you have a bad. Hopefully, let's see here. Oh no, I think it should be okay. This is the last time I'm going to rely on community. Now, all this being said, pausing again. It's like maybe you have a bad. No, it's good. I think it might be your signal, Slick. So I will make up for this by taking donations and begging for money. I'm going to go back to what made me Yogi Steve. Now, unless you're local or if you really listen to my stories for a long time, it's okay, Slick. Um, when I was in my early 30s, I started Runyon Canyon Yoga, which was basically which is a park, Runyon Canyon Yoga. It's right around the corner from where I live. And in the early 2000s, really the late 1990s, 1999, as early as 98, people talk about the economy being bad now, people needing money, everybody being broke. This is not a new thing. This has been going on for a long time in America. So in the late 90s, I guess there was some sort of a financial crush, whatever. All I know is that I knew the community needed like a free yoga class. Yoga classes were like, it cost you like $100, $150 a month for the school. If you pay by the school, it costs you $20 a class, $15 a class. So I started a free or really a donation class, but very low key donation. Like you didn't have to donate. A lot of people didn't for years. So I basically built my reputation as a yoga teacher by teaching these free classes. And I didn't really do it to make money. I just did it to like have something to do to help community. But as it turned out, I ended up making pretty good money teaching those classes. And I also developed my own private training business, training people with yoga, with kettlebells, dumbbells, barbells. I have a full gym in my apartment. And so I became a full on time personal trainer from the yoga classes. And then, to be honest, what happened is COVID hit and people didn't want to come out for yoga class anymore, even though it was an outdoor class. Also, my classes before COVID were kind of getting small. So I didn't, my ego, I was used to teaching like classes with 30, 40, 50 or more people. Once the class shrunk to like 10 or 12 people, I took it for granted and I stopped teaching, kind of with the excuse that COVID was killing the class. But I realize now that I took it for granted. And, I'm Yogi Steve for a reason. I really, really love teaching yoga. I feel like I'm a really good teacher. I'm really good at it. And I stopped teaching like almost 5 years ago. But now, especially since I'm begging the community for money, panhandling basically, I'm going to go back to serving the community. And once I am at least halfway through the rehab for the shoulder, I'm going to go back to teaching yoga. So those of you guys who are not in LA, if you want to plan a trip to hang out with me, when I come back, I'll have a group ride every other week at least, and I'll have yoga every Saturday. Plus, my first student, Daniel, who's a guy my age, a yoga teacher, he still teaches at Runyon Canyon Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Thank you, Daniel. He's actually kept this class alive all this time. I can't wait to go back to teaching. I'm so fucking isolated because of this accident. Uh, I'm so fucking depressed. I really miss being around people. I didn't realize how much the DoorDash job was really satisfying. I miss the mystery driver. I miss Eddie the courier. I miss all my friends out there. So I won't take this shit for granted in the future. I'm going to use this as like my comeback moment. I'm going to make a big comeback. It'll happen. I'll fucking do it. Chexologist says you might be here next year if your father agrees to come with me to meet my relative I haven't seen since I was a baby. That would be cool. You can come out. I'll lend you a scooter if you want. You hit the group ride, especially for you, Chexologist. I've known you for so long. Thin rate. I've never met you before. How are you? Chak says defensive scooter driving has prevented me from many accidents for a couple of years now. Managed to dodge visible potholes and soaked up those I didn't see with the dual suspension and tubeless tires. Yeah, believe me, defensive driving is aggressive but defensive driving. That's kind of the hallmark. That's how you learn to drive, like in New Jersey. Like that's how they teach you how to drive, basically. But there's like the accidents I've had are freak accidents, and they happen because of volume. When you put in like as many miles as I do on these vehicles, shit is bound to happen. No, oh, thank you very much, Then. Thank you for being new to the channel. I appreciate it. New viewers are very valuable. Thank you. But when you put in volume on these scooters, like accidents are just going to happen. It's like the motorcycle world. An expression from riding motorcycles is, it's not a matter of if you're going to have an accident. It's a matter of when and how bad. Because many times you'll have an accident that are out of your control. I was hit by a car, which wasn't even that bad of an accident, like 4 or 5 years ago. There's nothing you could do about it. Somebody pulls in front of you or somebody pulls right into you. There's nothing you could do. That accident, it wasn't really that bad. The accident that I broke my collarbone, I can feel the bump right here, which was 3 years ago, October 3 years ago. Jesus, almost exactly 3 years ago. That I don't even know what happened. I blacked out. I hit my head. Now, the good thing about the accident I had recently, if there is a good thing, is I didn't hit my head. It's just a pure shoulder problem. You don't want to hit your head. I don't want to have another fucking concussion. But anyhow, life moves forward. I'll get another girlfriend. I don't know if I'm going to get any more dogs. I kind of like just having the one dog. You guys want to see him? Check him out. Oh, I don't know if I can. There, look at that. There's Bishop. Hey, Bishop. He doesn't care. He's old. He doesn't hear shit. Michael Jenkins says, "What's up, Steve? That was cool last week with you training your friend. It was interesting. Yeah, Dulcinea is really cool. She's a really good friend. I love training her. She's like I only have 3 students left. At one point I had like 12 to 15 active private students. I'd really like to get back to that. I need to, but the only way I can really promote myself is by teaching yoga. So I'm going to go out there and teach yoga again, and I'm going to bring back that part of my life. I need to do it. I need to be part. This isolation that I'm doing is crazy. So, all right, let's test ChatGPT. Hey, what's up, somebody? Actually, there's quite a few new names in the chat. That means a lot to me, guys. Drawd PR 429. Have you ever been pulled over by law enforcement riding your scooters? I was pulled over a lot. The scooters have become more common and accepted, the stand-up scooters, in recent years. But my first couple years, I got pulled over 6 or 7 times. There's actually a great video on my channel. If you do a search on YouTube for Electric Scooter Academy pulled over, you'll find at least one. I have a very, very good video of this goober of a cop, and I support police. This guy was a complete dork. He didn't even know what he was talking about. But I've been pulled over a lot. Now, in recent years, I have not. The key to not being pulled over around here, at least, is to not drive like an asshole. You just got to drive nice. So, you got to be careful. If I'm going to make a crazy move, I look over my shoulder and make sure there's no police around. But I haven't been pulled over for a very, very long time. NBA says, I know this is a troll, but he says, how do you get over the embarrassment of having such a big, oh, I thought you meant you were going to say having such a big dick on the scooter. I thought you were trolling, but how do you get over the embarrassment of having such a big bag on a tiny scooter? I mean, embarrassment is, for the weak. Like I'm not embarrassed about much, to be honest with you. Oh, Thin Right says, I saw the Jason video, the JCN video on your channel. That's what I'm aiming for because of seeing it in your vids. Yeah, very cool. Use my link and code if you're buying that. Yeah, my recent JCN video didn't do that well. It got a normal amount of views. But somehow, the one that I made a couple months ago has got a couple 100,000 views. And if you guys ever think there's any money in fucking YouTube, that's the most viral video I've had in years. And I made, I think, 50 bucks on it. 220,000 views, I think it's got right now. It's fucking ridiculous. I have no idea why that video is that popular. I really don't. It's impossible. I went through a phase where I was having viral videos. It was the most intoxicating thing of my life. Chexologist, what are you saying here? Or you're talking to electric rider. That's good. Yeah, NBA. I don't get embarrassed that easily. It's pretty hard for me to get embarrassed. All right, so I wanted to talk to a ChatGPT. Let's see here if I can. Let me pull this up here. But yeah, if you want to donate to my GoFundMe, the link is in the description of this video and all recent videos. All right, so back on with ChatGPT. John Bud, can you hear me? Shit. John Bud, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, so
You got it.
okay. So this is we're using. Yeah, maybe I'll put the mic right here.
Yeah, that sounds good. Just get everything set up however is comfortable for you, and I'm here as your John Bud to help out. Love you, Dr. Need.
This shit's funny as fuck. All right, don't talk for a second, ChatGPT. Wait for me to ask you a question. Okay, shut up. So ChatGPT is fucking hysterical. I've been asking it questions and stuff, and what I've realized is if you ask them a question about like what the best electric scooter is, what seems to happen is the answer is the most popular, the most frequently advertised electric scooter. So I'm going to ask like random questions to ChatGPT and
Oh,
see what it has to say. Shut the fuck up, John Bud. All right. Okay. Now, John Bud, I have a question for you. I'd like you to answer it within three sentences. I'd like you to answer it in less than 30 seconds. I'd like you to answer it in exactly 30 seconds. So I would like to ask you, John Bud, what is the best electric scooter under $1,000?
all right. You got it. In exactly 30 seconds or less. I'd say one strong contender under $1,000 is the Segway 9 by Max. It's well known, it's reliable, it's got a good range for the price, and it's definitely popular for a reason. And there we go, right around 30 seconds.
Perfect. Thank you. Don't talk till I ask you now. So that is actually, to be honest with you, that's actually pretty close to my answer for a sub $1,000 stand-ups electric scooter. That is I do think Segway is a great line, but it gets a little more confusing when you start asking it about different price points and other scooters. So let's ask ChatGPT what the best sit-down electric scooter is at any price point. All right, John Bud, what's the best sit-down electric scooter at any price point?
All right.
Answer in 30 seconds or less.
Absolutely. I'll keep it snappy. So, in under 30 seconds, if you're looking at the best sit down electric scooter on any price, a lot of people would point to something like the Nami Burn E2 Max. It's definitely
All right,
top tier
stop right there.
choice.
Stop right there, John Bud. Okay. That's not a sit-down scooter. That's a stand-up scooter. Sit-down scooter is defined as a scooter with a seat but it doesn't have pedals. So what is the best sit down electric scooter in your opinion? 20 seconds or less.
Gotcha. Thanks for the clarification. In that case, if we're talking sit down scooters without pedals, the eMove Roadrunner often gets a lot of praise. It's comfy, it's pretty powerful, and it's definitely a solid sit down choice. There you go.
All right, thank you. Guys, I did not do any programming for ChatGPT. Because honestly, when I was alone, not streaming meeting, and I was asking it about what the best scooters were, it was throwing scooters at me that are not well known. That are I was very surprised. So that's pretty cool. That I mean, that should be in the title. That ChatGPT thinks that the best sit down electric scooter is the Roadrunner Pro, and I think that as well. I mean, there's not that many sit down scooters. There are scooters that you can put a seat on. But Cringe Lord the Third says donated $50,000. Last time you said you donated $10,000. By the way, just so you know, and there's actually a chance that somebody does donate $50,000 or something. There are people out there. I was talking to my brother. We were talking about money. My brother is a lawyer, so obviously he makes more money than me. He's smarter than me, and he's got a wife. He's got a kid and a kid on the way. He's smart, and he never really gives me a hard time about the way I live my life. But it's okay. It's okay, Cringe Lord. I know who you are. It's all good. But he's saying to me like, you need to get like a regular job. And I'm telling him I think DoorDash is a regular job, but it's a little dangerous. That's the thing. But he was saying to me that people with money don't freely give away their money. That's why they're rich. That is true. That is sort of true. But I was watching podcasts. I've been watching a lot of poker podcasts while I sit and play poker. And Dan Smith is a poker player that has his own charity. And I guess because he's in like a rich network, he's had people donate between like $50,000 and $1 million to his charity. His charity is helping like the greater world. It's not to an individual like me, but there is a chance that there's somebody out there in the world. Like shit, if somebody could just drop 20,000 on me right now, that would help me a lot. Obviously I don't really expect that to happen. My goal on the GoFundMe is 7,500. I figure that'll like help with living expenses, help me chip away at the crazy co-payment for the insurance. Honestly, I need money for my dog too. I know my dog needs dental work. I actually contacted a like a low cost veterinary care place today, and basically they told me for the work that my dog needs, it's going to be like $3,000. But if I went to like another place, it'd be like 5 to 8 grand. So I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I totally get it. And
Shut up, shut up. ChatGPT is fucking hysterical. All right, I see you got some questions and comments coming in here. Cringe Lord says, I would recommend looking into Aflac insurance. It's a supplement insurance that helps pay for medical bills that your actual insurance doesn't. Plus, it gives you pay for missed work. I'll check that out. That sounds pretty good. Electric Rider says, I broke my knee twice, then my hip. That fucking sucks. That does fucking suck. But anyhow, so yeah, let's go back to talking to ChatGPT. So, okay, so John Budd, what do you think with, let's say, between 3,500 and $5,000, what's the best stand-up electric scooter? Answer in 20 seconds or less. Turned off. John Budd, can you hear me?
yep, I can hear you loud and
Okay.
clear. I'm right here.
What is the best stand-up electric scooter between the price point of $3,500 and $5,000?
Ooh, that's a nice range to pick from. So in that $3,500 to $5,000 range, one of the top stand-up electric scooters that gets a lot of love is the Dualtron Thunder 2. It's got a great reputation for power and range, and it kind of hits that premium sweet spot. So that's definitely one I call out in that bracket.
I think that is actually a pretty good answer. I mean, the thing about, I love Dualtrons. You guys know that I kind of built my whole YouTube career initially riding only Dualtron. When I initially started working for VOROMOTORS, that'd be nice, Affleck. Yeah, Cringe Lord, if Affleck could get me laid too. When I initially started working for VOROMOTORS, they were actually a Dualtron dealer. So the first great thing that I got as a YouTuber is I met Melvin by one day, and this is like 3 years ago or more. I'm just sitting there, doing my own thing. I get a message from Melvin. It says, "Hey, your Dualtron Ultra at this point, it's got 10,000, 11,000 miles on it. It's too old. I got a brand new Dualtron Storm for you." So Melvin gave me a Dualtron Storm. So that's, if you wonder why, like, I'm loyal to Voro, they put their he put Melvin, the owner of the company, puts his money where his mouth is. He's given me a lot of vehicles since then. So but I was really big into Dualtron at that point. Eventually, for whatever reason, Voro Motors stopped selling Dualtron, probably because Media Motors USA had such a big market share for them. And they're both California-based companies. So I still have what do I have? I have a Dualtron Ultra 2 that I bought with my own money because Mini Motors USA was a shitty affiliate. They gave me like a discount, but they didn't give it to me for free. And I have my Dualtron Storm. I actually kind of like my Dualtron Ultra 2 better than my Storm. So I'm going to be selling my Storm. All I need to do is put a new tire on my Storm. Then I'm going to sell it. I'm going to be selling some of my vehicles. Don't worry, guys. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up on riding scooters for deliveries. There's no way I'm giving that up. You guys might have heard me in other streams talk about I might actually buy myself a gas-powered scooter because if I want to make like Wilser money, you guys know Wilser, William Hernandez, his YouTube channel is Wilser. You need gas because you don't run out of battery. You can put in gas on the road. Wilser is doing No Rest November right now. If you follow him, he's trying to make $10,000 this month. That's pretty cool. So let me answer some of the comments here on best scooter. I mean, that is it's always going to be like a controversial question in the scooter world. Like, what's the best? The truth is, I never really say that there's the best. There's best like in categories. Like I think that Dualtron probably has the best build quality, meaning that there's less chances of shit going wrong with it. But ride comfort can absolutely suck. The Dualtron models are extremely stiff. If you compare it to like the InMotion RS or a Nami, they have a much more plush suspension, much better riding position. Now, really, my favorite stand-up scooter right now is the InMotion RS. In that price category, my favorite small scooter, like under $2,000, is the eMove Cruiser V2. Love that scooter. And if I had only one scooter to do deliveries on, it would actually be that. I feel like that's like one of my safest scooters. It's the big scooters that I've had accidents on, the really big, fast ones. But let's see here. AJE says Dualtron Storm or Wolf King GT. Yeah, Dualtron Storm, great scooter. The problem with Cabos are a lot of these units have caught fire while charging or while riding. Since Voro Motors doesn't work for them anymore, I can be a little more free. Like I knew a lot of this stuff, not so much when I was selling them after the fact. I have a friend that works at Voro Motors that doesn't work there anymore. Kind of gave me the inside scoop on the Cabos, and Cabos have like probably the highest percentage chance of just fucking catching fire either while you're charging it or while you're riding it. So that is an unbelievable negative. I actually sold my Cabo Wolf King GT. I sold my Wolf King GTR. I mean, I sold it not because I was really worried about fires. I sold it because Voro Motors wasn't selling them anymore. And for the longest time, I wouldn't ride scooters that I don't make sales for. Right now, just between you and me, like the affiliate business, for me at least, is completely dead. I don't really sell scooters anymore. I don't really know what happened with all that, but it is what it is. I still benefit from Voro Motors. They pay me for the podcast. They give me scooters here and there. But my favorite stand-up scooter right now is definitely the InMotion RS. So I'm very curious about something. So we asked ChatGPT what the best sit-down scooter was, and it said one of the Roadrunner Pro is in contention. And I thought that. But there have been problems with the original version of the Roadrunner Pro. Voro Motors isn't even selling the Roadrunner Pro anymore because there was a lot of trouble with the initial frame. They came out with a bolstered frame, but I wonder if ChatGPT is aware of this. All this stuff was openly talked about on Facebook. I'm not giving away any secrets. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT something, and we'll see if it can actually get the answer. John Butt, are you there? John Butt, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay.
I'm right here and listen.
Okay. Tell me about any problems with the Roadrunner Pro in 30 seconds.
Absolutely. So in about 30 seconds, the Roadrunner Pro is generally pretty well liked. But some folks mention that its suspension can be a bit stiff for longer rides, and sometimes the seat comfort isn't perfect for everyone. Overall, it's solid, but those are a couple of minor nitpicks people sometimes point out.
All right, guys. So this shows, I think, a limitation of AI. It's unbelievable that there's so much dialogue, especially like on my Facebook groups and on Reddit everywhere, about how the first generation Roadrunner Pro had a lot of problems with the frame. Like the frame was cracking and then breaking. Smartly enough, VOROMOTORS made a second version, or eMove, I guess. I always thought eMove is kind of like a VOROMOTORS house brand, but I'm not never been really sure to this day. But so they came out the second version with extra welds. So that reduced frame problems by like 90%. It's still not impervious, but the new welds have really made the new version much better. Now, there is a Roadrunner Pro 2 coming out that's going to have a more durable frame. We're looking forward to that. But now let me prompt ChatGPT in a better way to see if we can get some answers. John Budd, have you heard any problems with the Roadrunner Pro initial generation frame?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for the better prompt. So, yes, the first generation of the Roadrunner Pro definitely has some known issues with the frame. A lot of early users did report that it was prone to cracking or just not holding up as well under stress. And like you said, the manufacturer eventually addressed it by adding extra welds and reinforcing it. So that definitely was a real issue, and they made improvements in the later versions to fix it up.
You know, it's funny. I didn't even realize that when I'm talking, this fucking thing is listening to me. So it basically just kind of repeated back exactly what I said. I think that shit is crazy. I mean, that's just absolutely fucking wild. But that's unbelievable. So now let me ask some more specific questions. Oh, you guys got questions here. You guys are talking to me in the chat. Chaxologist says even my VMAX X VX2 at less than 60 pounds has plush enough front hydraulic and rear suspension with an enormous elastomere. That's a cool word. The 18.6 amp hour battery goes 30 miles per hour. That's pretty good. Help me maintain control running over potholes I failed to spot at night. I believe that. Fashion says, don't mean to bother you, but can you ask your friend about the Weephead SST Kelly controller 180 amp? You know, when you say my friend, you mean my buddy Ryan. I don't know if that's my mechanic friend. I don't know if he would actually know about that. The thing is about Weephead is like it's such a niche line of scooters. What you should do, Fashion, is go onto Facebook, go onto Reddit, and ask your. Oh, maybe. Oh, should I? How about if I ask ChatGPT? That's funny. You mean don't mean about you ask your friend? So I guess you mean should you mean ChatGPT or my friend? Let's ask. Let me ask ChatGPT about this. Let's see if they can help us. All right, John Budd, can you tell me about the Weephead SST Kelly controller 180 amp?
Absolutely. And yeah, I'm always here to fill in as your friend on the scooter knowledge side. So the Webhead SST is definitely a pretty niche high performance scooter. And that Kelly Controller 180A is basically a beefy controller that can handle a ton of power. People who are into Webhead tend to like that combination because it gives you really strong acceleration and a ton of control. So it's definitely kind of a high end enthusiast piece of gear, but that's the gist of it.
Very interesting. All right, Sleck is asking a question for John Budd. All right, John Budd, another question. Can you ride e-scooters on the sidewalk in Washington?
So, in a nutshell, in Washington State, you're generally not supposed to ride e-scooters on the sidewalk unless there's really no safe alternative or local rules say otherwise. So it's mostly a no-go on sidewalks.
Super interesting. You guys notice how it took it made a noise like it was thinking? I think some of these questions are tougher than other. I thought that'd be a pretty easy question. Like, what are the regulations? I thought that was very cool. Oh, where can you get one? Okay. What was the name of that controller?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
always kind
hold on a second. So, John Budd, can you tell me where I could buy a where I could buy an SST Kelly controller 180 amps?
sure. So you can actually grab the Webhead SST right from Webhead's official website. And if you're looking for that Kelly Controller Y80A, you can just hop over to Kelly Control's website and find it there.
You should have been able to find that by yourself, Fashion. So I guess Kelly Controller has a website. That's pretty interesting. Can you no, I can't. So that's pretty interesting. So go to the Kelly site. Kelly's got a website, I guess. Checkologist says I do sometimes on the side right on the sidewalk if the roads are chock full of cars with literally no gap in between parked and moving cars. Yeah, I hear that. Um, some guys who are out there doing deliveries, like I'll see Eddie the courier, my good local friend. He spends a lot of time on the sidewalk, like more than I do. On the scooters, on my bikes, I'm always just on the street. I try to stay off the sidewalk. I feel like sidewalk driving is more dangerous, or for pedestrians, obviously. Driving in the street is obviously more dangerous for the person driving. But yeah, that's actually super interesting. Wow. Hey, what's up, Creationator? Good to see you, buddy. It's been a little bit. Good to see you in the chat. Make sure I'm not missing any questions. Thin Rates is asking me, as a first e-bike, am I good with the 52-volt JCN T73 Pro? JCN does make a good line. If you're looking for like a pedal assist bike, I do think JCN makes really good bikes. There's other options out there, but I'm not that familiar with them. I'm still more of an e-scooter guy. And you can see I do have like one e-bike. You can see like right here. This is my right here. This is my Mantis Pro. You can't really see it. I'm sorry. But I know more probably about like Suron style bikes than pedal control. But I think JCN does make a really good bike. That's for sure. Chexologist says, I actually prefer driving in the street than the bike lanes, which is called vehicular cycling in their parlance. That's really funny. So you guys know that I love the InMotion RS. And I'm also very aware of what the problems are with the scooter. They actually came out with an RS kind of a 2.0. Oh, Select used to have the Retrovolt. Yeah, I just sold my Retrovolt to Eddie the Courier. He's actually got mine now. He's loving it. It's really, I almost regret selling it because I feel like when I go back to doing deliveries, I'm still going to work on stand-up scooters, but I want to work more on the bikes. I feel like the bikes are safer. These stand-up scooters are just not that stable at speed. But you guys know that I love the InMotion RS, and I'm very aware of the problems with it. I'm not going to say what they are, but the because I want to see if ChatGPT can figure this out. But they came out with the 2.0 version, which addressed these problems and fixed them. So let me ask ChatGPT about the InMotion RS. All right, John Budd, tell me about the InMotion RS, the pluses, and any problems you've heard about it.
Absolutely. So the InMotion RS is definitely a pretty popular high performance e scooter. On the plus side, it gets a lot of praise for its speed, its range, and just overall build quality. It's kind of known for being a really solid performer. Now, in terms of the problems, the original version did have some reports of things like stem wobble or some durability concerns that people were a little bit worried about. But they did release, like you said, kind of a 2.0 version that addressed a lot of those issues and made the frame sturdier and just overall improved it. So, and definitely a solid scooter with a couple of hiccups at the start, but they worked on it.
All right, so this is an example of why AI is still not smarter than people, because that answer is not really right. So very specifically, the InMotion RS had a problem with its motor cable wires. What was very interesting about the RS is they had a plug and play wire, which means that if you want to do a tire change on a regular scooter, you don't remove the motor and the wheel from the scooter. The wire still attaches it to the controller and the whole scooter. So whenever you're doing a tire change, you also have to worry about stressing the wire. Whoa, $50. Creationator. Holy shit, dude. Thank you very much. That goes a fucking long way. That's a really big deal. I really appreciate that. I fucking owe you, buddy. Hopefully you can come out to LA and take my yoga class. I'll give you a free private training session as well. But those $50 donations, that shit is above and beyond. By the way, if anybody does want to make a big donation, better to use the GoFundMe because it is they charge me 30% on YouTube. They only charge me 3% on GoFundMe, but still, Creationator, above and beyond. I'll get that money with my monthly YouTube check, which is small as fuck. I really only make about $200 a month from my ad revenue. Something interesting though this week, what happened is actually I wonder if ChatGPT could tell me about this. My check is like very consistently $200, and Creationator, that is fucking crazy, man. Thank you very much. And again, I just hope it's money you can afford. I'm going to ask. I will ask that question. What traffic? I wanted to ask more. So this week was weird. I was looking at my revenue for my YouTube money, and it said I was getting $450, and I kind of felt like I knew that was a mistake. And then a couple days later, it went back to like 200. They tell you like a month in advance how much you're getting. But I was wondering, was if there was a universal problem? John Budd, tell me, when it comes to YouTube, Google AdSense revenue, in the past week or so, were there any problems with YouTube overestimating how much income content creators were being paid?
Yeah, so actually, you're not alone. It looks like in the past week or so, some YouTube creators have noticed their revenue numbers were showing up higher than usual by mistake. YouTube's aware of it and they're working on it. So it's definitely a known glitch, just something to keep an eye on until they finalize those numbers.
What I thought happened is I thought that somebody gave me a super chat. No problem, Fashion. That's what I'm here for. Um, this is so funny how I can use ChatGPT as like a co-host. But I knew it when my check is just always consistently like $200. It's kind of like YouTube is like a fixed scenario. You have to like do something crazy to go viral, I guess. But all I know is that I was looking at my earned income and it said $448, like more than double what I normally get. And I kind of knew in the moment I didn't think I thought somebody gave me like a giant super chat that I was unaware of, or they joined my membership or something, which I don't even promote. But I was like, what the fuck? This can't be right. And then a couple days later, just like today, actually, I looked at it and boom, it was back down to like $210. So it's interesting to see that, like, how does YouTube make a mistake like that? It's not that big of a deal. I mean, honestly, every dollar counts for me. I was super excited. I was like, oh, an extra $200 this month. Holy shit, do I fucking need that money? But anyhow, so my friend What Traffic, Gustavo, how you doing? Dualtron X owner. By the way, I'm seeing Ryan. I was going to see him this week, but he just started a new job. He's hey, what's up, Son Manley? Good to see you. Again, Creationator. Thank you for that $50 super chat. So Ryan is my mechanic. It's not a secret. I've got him. He's in a whole bunch of videos. I haven't seen him for a while because he went from being like a full-time mechanic. He went back to his regular job. He's like a union electrician. So he makes like a lot of money when he works. He still does weekend repairs on electric scooters, but he went back to work finally, like just recently, or he went back to work a couple years ago, so he's not doing full-time scooter work anymore. So, and I don't really see him that much because I've been very lucky. I really haven't been having problems with my scooters, and he does all my repairs for me. But so I called him recently, one because I needed a friend to talk to, but also because my Dualtron Storm, I want to sell it. I've had it for a long time. It's got 3,500 miles on it. I'm sure I can get a decent amount of money for it, but it needs a new front tire, and I can't do the tires myself. So Gustavo, I was just talking to Ryan. He was very happy that he got your scooter back to you finally. It was a crime that it took him so long, but I'm going to see him probably this weekend. So Ryan's going to come this weekend and put a tire on my Storm so I can fucking sell it. What Traffic is asking me to ask John Budd about the latest breakthroughs on batteries, making them more. Okay. All right. John Budd, can you hear me? John Budd, can you hear me? What the fuck? ChatGPT, are you there? What the fuck happened? John Budd, can you hear me? What the fuck? John Budd, can you hear me? Why is this fucking talking to me? Why did this fucking break? I'll sign out and sign in. What the fuck is wrong with this? John Budd, can you hear me? What the fuck? There's no limit to this, right? Why isn't this working? John Budd, can you hear me? ChatGPT, can you hear me? What the fuck? What the fuck? What's going on here? I mean, I'm paying for the service. I didn't want to pay for any AI stuff because you can just subscribe to multiples of them and answer all your questions. But John Budd, can you hear me? What is going on? What the fuck? This is like the best part of this. I don't think there's any limit to how much I can fucking do here. John Budd, can you hear me? ChatGPT, are you there? Hello? What the fuck? Why isn't this fucking working? There's no limit to how much talking I can do, right? I'm paying for this. You gotta be fucking kidding me. How come? This is fucking bullshit. ChatGPT, can you hear me? Did I lose my connection or something? What the fuck's going on here? I'm fucking pissed. Oh, it's on mute for some reason. No, it's off of mute. Maybe it's my internet. What's going on here? Hello, hello. ChatGPT, can you hear me? I was having so much fucking fun with this. What the fuck is wrong? I want to ask, hey, what's up, Aubrey Bush? How you doing? I use ChatGPT to help me diagnose things all the time, whether it's on the scooters or the automobiles. I believe it. What the fuck? Why isn't this working?
I know that's frustrating, especially when you're having a good time with it. It might just be a little glitch or a temporary hiccup.
Okay.
Sometimes the voice feature.
All right, shut up. But you can hear me now.
Oh, you got it.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
Okay,
Let's
cool.
keep rolling.
I saw this motherfucker. All right. So my friend, What Traffic is asking, what are the latest breakthroughs on batteries? Are they making them more compact and holding more amp hours? That means it's thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's definitely been some cool stuff happening with batteries lately. In general, they are getting more compact and they're squeezing more amp hours in there. A lot of that is thanks to advances in cell chemistry and just better energy density overall. So yeah, your friend's on the money. Batteries are definitely getting more powerful and more compact.
The most common battery used for electric scooters and bikes is lithium batteries. Do they have any batteries coming out in the future that are going to be better?
Yeah, definitely. So right now, lithium batteries are kind of the gold standard for e-scooters and e-bikes, but there's some really exciting stuff on the horizon. For example, solid state batteries are a big deal. Those are in development and they promise even higher energy density and better safety. There's also talk about new chemistries that might be lighter and hold even more charge. So yeah, the future's looking bright for even better batteries.
Yeah, when somebody was asked me, like, on the very first VOROMOTORS podcast, not the one that I do here, the one I actually did at VOROMOTORS at their headquarters. Um, Melvin asked me, like, what I thought, like, what improvements can be made in scooters, and I thought that really that the design is maxed out. It's as good as it can be, but what we need is better battery technology. So I feel like that's coming for sure. And once they can make like more, the problem with these scooters is, well, there's three main problems. Is one, they're problem prone. Scooters or bikes, electric scooters. Two, I guess there's a lot of problems. Two, it's like getting somebody to work on your electric vehicle. It's difficult. Like if you have a gas powered moped, you can bring that to like a shop. If you have a Honda Ruckus or an ADV, you can bring it to a shop and they'll be able to fix it for you without having to like usually wait forever for parts or have to bring in a specialist. Like it's really amazing. Like if you want to be a good electric scooter mechanic, you have to be able to do frame, tires, brakes, but also the electrics, which a lot of people just can't do. Aubrey Bush says, for me, the big thing is weight. They need to be closer to 100 to 120 pounds. Even that's really heavy. I think the problem is when you have a 120-pound scooter, 50 or 60 pounds of that weight comes from the battery. That's why we need better battery technology. We do need them to be lighter. When I was talking to my buddy Ryan the other day, we were talking about, like, I'm wondering if I think I'm going to ask John Budd, ChatGPT, about this in a second, actually. But are big stand-up scooters becoming less or more popular? I know for sure, and my buddy Ryan agreed that there's you see tons and tons and tons of commuter scooters out there, like sub $1,000 scooters, because those scooters really fill the purpose. They get people, 1 to 3 miles, wherever they're going, usually somewhere close, and they're portable. They're light. You can like bring it into your office. Let's see. A Sunman Laces, the Daytona range is not good, not enough. Yeah, they should have made a better, a bigger, higher amp hour battery. It's okay, Creationator. Listen, I'm not. You gave me 50 on Super Chat. It's all beautiful. I appreciate you donating on GoFundMe if you want. Whatever it is it's above and beyond. I really appreciate it. But I'm wondering though if there's any way to track like the pop. I feel like e-bikes, like Suron style e-bikes, are really taking over the popularity of big stand-up scooters. So let me try ask ChatGPT, which I'm calling John Budd. That's the name of my friend. I thought it was funny. So, John Budd, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you loud and clear. And that is a pretty interesting trend you're noticing. So, yeah, feel free to ask away and I'll do my best to dive into it.
What is more popular, big fast stand-up electric scooters or Suron style e-mopeds?
That's a great question. So, from what I've seen lately, those Saran style mopeds are definitely getting a lot of traction. They seem to be becoming more popular, especially with folks who want that mix of a bike and a moped feel. Meanwhile, the big stand up electric scooters are still around and they have their fans, but in terms of overall trend, it does seem like those mopeds are kind of on the rise.
Is there any way you can tell within the past 5 years these big fast scooters have sold more or less? Like, did we sell more of them a couple years ago? Are we selling less of them now? Is there any way to track that?
So, looking at the past 5 years, the overall electric scooter market has really grown a lot. We've gone from something like 5 million units sold globally in 2018 to around 37 million by 2023. But in terms of specifically comparing those big fat stand up scooters to something like Suran style mopeds, the exact numbers are a bit harder to track down.
All
But
right,
the
hold it
general
right
trend
there.
is
Hold it right there. When you say we went from 5 million to 37 million units, are you including all price categories? Like you're including commuter scooters in that number?
yeah, exactly. That number is definitely the whole market. So it includes everything from those smaller commuter scooters under $1,000 up to the bigger high performance ones. So when we talk about that growth, it's kind of everything in the mix. And you're totally right. Those commuter scooters make up a big chunk of that number.
What percentage do you think?
I'd say a pretty hefty majority of that growth is from the commuter scooters. Probably somewhere around 70% or more of those total units sold are those smaller sub $1,000 scooters that people use for those quick commutes. The big fast stand up scooters definitely have their niche, but they're a smaller slice of that pie.
All right. I actually think that that number is not really that accurate. I think John Budd is just guessing. I think that 95% of scooters sold on the market are commuter scooters because basically I've been doing this job for 6 years, been on the road more than anybody. I don't think I've seen like a Dualtron 5 times, a Cabo 15 times. I'm talking about in 6 years. Like basically, like I could go months without seeing another hyper scooter on the road. Oh, now we're talking about the GTR Max. All right, I'm going to ask ChatGPT about this. So Sunman Lay says the freshly charged is my buddy Andrew. Uh, they just dropped a new video of the GTR Max. Yeah, I saw that. Can you tell me anything about the new Cabo GTR Max scooter, John Bud?
Sure. So the new Cabo GTR Max is a pretty beefy high performance scooter. It's got dual 2000-watt motors, which means it can hit around 65 miles per hour. And it's got a big 72-volt battery that can give you up to about 124 miles of range. Plus, it's got some nice suspension to keep things stable. So it's definitely a powerhouse.
Yeah. So basically, there's probably not that much information on the GTR Max, but I think oh, it's been out for 3 or 4 months. I didn't even know that, Aubrey. But yeah, it's very interesting. I haven't seen much about it, because Cabo, we're not working with Cabo anymore. So it's interesting. I guess the freshly charged got them directly from Cabo USA. But the GTR, that scooter was a fucking mess. They made it too high off the ground. They made the handlebars too far away from the rider. The fucking split rim tires were a fucking disaster. The battery was falling out of the housing, the removable battery. So there was like a crazy amount of problems with the GTR. So they came out with the GTR Max, which I think they lowered it to the ground. Oh yeah, Aubrey Bush has lower deck clearance. Yeah, that's important. No more removable battery, and it's 40 amp hours with more power. Yeah, they needed to get rid of that. Like, I guess they wanted to try to make the GTR like a true off-road scooter, and they thought like one thing they need to make sure is that it doesn't bottom out. Like when you hit a heavy bump with that suspension, the bottom doesn't hit the ground. So they made it like overly tall off the ground. I got used to it. I didn't mind it, but it was a ridiculous fucking scooter to ride. The handlebars were so low. They should have done what it was okay to have the high clearance, but they should have raised the handlebars. I think they make these fucking scooters for the Chinese market where people are like on average 5'5". We're 5'10" here in America, the average male. Hey, how you doing? Says you need a good car with a long, hard stiffer to pull whilst going up gears. I hear that. Missing more questions here. We're doing pretty good, guys. I'm having fun with ChatGPT. A Chaxologist says, especially in New York City, stand-up scooters are infinitely handier for hauling to any subway station to connection points where they are compact and not heavy enough to take up and down stairs. Yeah, I mean, I almost feel like I want to go into the small commuter scooter business, like try to buy some and then just sell them one at a time on marketplace because it's such a big market. I mean, people don't. It's pretty rare the person that wants to spend three, four, $5,000 or more on a stand-up scooter. I wish there were some numbers available so I could see like what percentage of these fucking scooters are actually being sold, but I don't think they really keep information like that. Most of these companies are private companies, like VOROMOTORS, Cabo, In Motion. They don't really release their numbers, but it's pretty fucking interesting. All right, we're almost done here. We're trying to do an hour, but I think we already did like 15 minutes. I can connect my mic to my glasses like this. Yeah, I guess I could do that if I wanted to, but this actually works pretty good. I'm using this type of mic because I have a YouTube friend named Black Bigelow. That's his actual name. He used to go by Black Bigot. And I asked him, how do you get such good sound on your videos? He's like, I just shoot on my phone and I use a cheap mic. I feel like this is pretty good. Aubrey Bush talking about the GT and the GTR says exactly. It really is a street scooter. They need to lower it. In my opinion, no scooter is off-road worthy other than the SEN bike by Hugo Bike. I definitely agree with that. That's something I said for years. And it's funny because you can see like the way that they advertise these vehicles, they advertise them as off-road, but they're not stable enough. The tires are too small. I agree that even the biggest, fastest scooters, even that GTR, which had components of like a big off-road scooter, they're not good for off-road. If you want to go off-road, get like a e-dirt bike, get a Suron style bike, get one of these Roar Mantis X's, get a Talaria, get an E-Ride Pro, get an Alta Sigma. That's another VOROMOTORS brand. But I don't think that these, it's funny how like they advertise them as off-road scooters, and even when big channels like Electric Scooter Guide and Freshly Charged, they would show these vehicles off-road. But I think you're crazy to drive any of these types of scooters off-road. They're just really not made for it. I think they're really best just standing up on flat ground. Let me tell you guys, I can't wait to get back to work. I mean, I have to get up tomorrow and spend the whole morning fucking calling the hospital again. I'm just having the hardest time getting my insurance through. I mean, the insurance will accept it, but for some reason, the fucking hospital's saying that my insurance was canceled. They must be looking at something else. I'm fucking pissed off. Anyhow, guys, I think we did pretty good here. AA says, sorry, I'm a four-wheeler Nissan R34 GTR. That sounds pretty cool. I'm not brave enough to go two wheels. I hear that. Yeah, if you wanted to do like an off-road scooter, those quad scooters, those quad stand-up scooters, those might be more legitimately good for off-roading. But I think if you want to go off-road, you want to be sitting on your ass. You want to have big, like, tires. It's like this Roar Mantis right here. I can actually show you really quick. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Yeah, see this is my Roar Mantis right here. And you can see like these big knobby off-road tires. These are super aggressive off-road tires. If anything, these aren't really good for the street. And I feel sorry for Americans. Insurance adds unneeded stress. Hope it goes well, man. Hey, I appreciate it. I think I'll be okay. Long run, I'll be okay. But yeah, the fucking insurance. Yeah, those are heavy. These are heavy duty tires. AA. But yeah, it's unfortunate. Like I've never needed insurance. I didn't need insurance until I had my first accident 3 years ago, and now I desperately need it. Like the insurance, the operation that I'm going to have, 50 or 60 grand. My co-payment, I'm sure, is going to be like 5 grand. It's fucking bullshit. What can you do? I mean, that's where we live. We live in a place where we don't have great insurance for Americans. That's why I'm not political. No party cares about us. When I realized we had Obamacare, but even then, like these companies, this shit's all like totally limited. But I'm not political. I don't think either side is doing it right. AA says we in the UK are a little safer when it comes to medical expenses. Yeah, you have more of a system where everybody's covered, I'd imagine, right? Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. It's crazy how I didn't need insurance until I got older. I didn't have insurance. When I had my accident 3 years ago, I didn't have insurance. I probably do have a giant bill from the ambulance ride and the emergency room, but I just never paid it, and they never came after me for it as well. So that's good. Aubrey says injuries are a real Debbie Downer. Hope you back up and running sooner rather than later. Yeah, me too. I'm fucking bored as fuck, sitting at home. Thank God I have online poker. but I can't wait to get out of here. AA says about the UK medical system. Yeah, we pay nothing individually. We pay into a healthcare system, not the best, but we don't have thousands of hundreds. Yeah, it doesn't cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah. Creationator says ChatGPT is so positive. Yeah, that is one thing that is weird. Uh, I asked him, I was pretty bored, I guess. And this, you can see, like, I'm not that bored and lonely that I'm actually talking to ChatGPT. But when I first got this voice function, I told him about my breakup with my girlfriend and like kind of the elements of it and for his diagnosis. And it's so like friendly, it's like, oh, I'm sorry you're going through that, blah, blah. You could probably tell it to be more mean. You could probably change it. You can prompt it differently. But alrighty, guys, that's that. We did instead of Thursday, we did a Wednesday stream. I might come back and stream even more just to push my GoFundMe, which will also be good for VOROMOTORS. I'm still promoting them as well. All right, guys, that was fun. Thanks for all the good questions. Taxologist says $5,000 pocket maximum out of network. Yeah, it's just fucking expensive. All right, so hey, hey, John Budd, thanks for hanging out with us. Say goodbye.
Absolutely. It's been a blast hanging out. Thanks for having me along for the ride, and take care. We'll chat again.
I almost wanted to say you too, buddy. Yeah, it is weird how like positive ChatGPT is. I do see though, like you can really see the faults of AI. I don't think it's smarter than people probably for certain things, but if you get into any sort of a niche topic, it doesn't know these answers. But like anybody who studies like the groups on Facebook will know more about scooters than ChatGPT. Creationer says, man, I've had 5 shoulder injuries. I always come back better. Always good to go after 3 months. My problem is I keep injuring during training. I hear that. AA says those MLK deepfakes are hilarious. Yeah, the deepfake, the Sora stuff is crazy. Like, and that's now. You imagine what it's going to be like 1 year, 2 years, 5 years from now. It's almost at a point, almost, but not quite. Like, if you know what you're looking for, you can tell when something is AI. But that's going to be over. They're going to fix that. Like, they're going to improve that. Probably in a year, 2 years, 5 years, we're not really going to be able to tell real from fake. It's fucking crazy. Alrighty, guys, that was a fun stream. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for everybody who has supported the GoFundMe's. I appreciate it. And I'll be back probably the latest on Sunday, maybe a little before then. We'll see. Maybe I'll do a little walk and talk if I can get a good stream. You too, AA. Take care. All right, Creationator, good to see you. Aubrey Bush, Chaxologist. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.